My channel is so small to read any representative trend from, but overall I tend to notice episodes about dreams attract a bit less views than others. I guess the general idea is dreams are just dreams. But I myself find dreams fascinating. For an ordinary person with no spiritual talent like myself, dreams are often the only opportunity where one catches the glimpse of the fantastical, something beyond normality, or even in the realm of paranormal. So I've made a few episodes about dreams over the years, most notably about precognitive dreams and sleep paralysis, but I also got to collect dream stories that are just as bizarre but hard to categorize. I thought today's the day to read them finally. Some of the dreams carry on or repeat itself like a TV series over time and days, some even to form a world of its own, or some even seem to know us better than we know them. Even the most rational person should agree how weird our brain should conjure up such images and stories. So, here are allegedly true stories about bizarre, glitchy dreams. As always, handpicked, translated and narrated by a host. Anthony. One day I had a dream in which I was dating a guy. After a nice meal, we went to a park and chatted on a bench. I felt the call of nature, so I told my date, "Excuse me, I need to go to the toilet." And with that, I woke up from the dream, feeling the need to pee in reality. So I got up, used the toilet, and also had a glass of water before going back to bed. When I fell back to sleep, I found myself where I left in the previous dream. I saw my date still sitting on the bench, so I joined him back. He then said to me, "So, you also had water on the way back?" Last night, my wife had to wake me up in the middle of the night. She told me I was gasping for air in my sleep. I'm sure it was because of the dream I was having. In the dream, I was in a hurry to go somewhere. Fortunately, the elevator was waiting on my floor, so I quickly pushed the call button and jumped in as soon as the door opened. Only then I saw, in the cabin, were two ghosts, with long black hair and in white mourning dresses, each occupying either side of the cabin. Their faces were blank, plain with no features at all. I froze on the spot and didn't know what to do, when one of them talked to the other. "How did he get on here?" And as soon as she finished the sentence, the elevator started falling down. The mad speed was more than a free fall, but more like it was forcefully sucked down. In the extreme G-force and terror, I started going breathless, and I could only helplessly watch the number falling all the way from 99 to 5 on the display. And then it stopped at 5th floor, and the door opened. Two ghosts nonchalantly walked out, leaving me fallen flat on the floor and gasping for air. I heard one of them saying,
"Why does he keep running into us?"
Even after I woke up, I had a hard time to catch a breath and calm myself down. I assured my wife that I was fine and lied back down, but I could not sleep because I realized I did meet those ghosts before. I couldn't remember when it was exactly, but I saw them in the dream sometime in the past, and that time involved an elevator too, and it was just as vivid and shocking a dream. Who are these ghosts? How could they remember me too? And why did they get off at 5th floor where I live? It's about a dream I had when I was a teenager. I was probably about 14 or 15. In the dream, I was with a woman in her late 20s. It was well before I developed an interest in girls or dating, and indeed I hadn't experienced love yet. But in that dream, I just felt that the woman was my love, and we loved each other a lot. My dream self was an adult about her age, and I sensed we'd been living together for some time already. I somehow knew it was a dream, that I was dreaming, but everything felt so vivid and real all the same. Just like an ordinary couple, we went grocery shopping together or a walk to a park nearby. Hour by hour, morning to afternoon to evening and night, time seemed to be flowing in real time. It was a totally new environment, but they all felt familiar at the same time. There was nothing remarkable. Our place was a shabby little flat on the half-basement level in an ordinary residential town, but we were happy together. I was content with our life and was deeply in love with a woman. In the dream's time, about 3 months passed. Meanwhile, we spent day-to-day like a loving couple, slept and woke up together, made silly little jokes and pranks, cooked and shared meals. And one day, an earthquake struck. I grabbed her hand to lead her outside, but in the panicked crowd, I let her hand go. And right then, I woke up. My mom was waking me up that I was getting late for school. My first response was, "Where is she, Mom? Where is she? I must go back. She should be scared without me." And bursted into tears. Mom thought I just had a nightmare and told me to shake up and go to school. I knew it was a dream already in the dream, but I could not brush it off. I wasn't feeling just sad, but stunned and dislocated as one sometimes could after a particularly immersive dream. For me, I felt like I literally lived 3 months of that life with a woman I deeply loved. I could not accept all that was what happened in a dream during my 8-hour sleep. For some time, I had a hard time to come back to my daily routine. I worried about her. I missed her. I missed our little happy life together. For a time, I even wandered around one residential town to another in an attempt to find the town from the dream. I indeed found one that looked similar, and spent many an evening wandering around there in a vain hope that I might run into her. Now, many years passed, and I have a long-term girlfriend who doesn't look or behave anything like the woman in my dream. I don't know what that dream was about, but I still sometimes think of her face, her voice, and her vibe. I had a weird dream. In the dream, I watched everything going on a screen as connected to a surveillance camera, watching another version of me going through the day. There I was wearing a school uniform, so it must have been sort of a school, be it a middle or high school. The day started just as any usual day at a school, attending classes, hang around with the mates, None of the people around I recognized from my real life, but in the dream, I behaved like I knew them well. Then, the scene suddenly flipped to night time. The teacher walked out of the classroom and other mates too by 2 or 3. But when I followed them out, the door didn't lead me to the hallway, but directly to the teacher's office. I kept trying, but the door only led to different rooms of the school, another classroom, science lab, art studio, and so on. What truly made me anxious was, now there was nobody else left in the school. Room by room, I was all by myself, struggling to find way out of school. Then I once again opened the door to yet another classroom, and this time the room was full of students all dozing away at their seat. I approached one of them to shake and wake up, but some mates came in through the door and stopped me.
"What are you doing? You should know by now,"
they said in a low but urgent voice. I didn't know what they meant. What should I know really when it was the first time I was in such a situation? But to my surprise, I apparently did. I took out a knife and cut off the heads of the sleeping students like I had done it hundreds of times. Turned out they were not humans, but something like zombies. Thankfully, they were not the kind of unstoppable zombies you see in films, but a much weaker and sluggisher version, and they stood no chance to fight against me. So I and other mates slayed everyone in the room, and I went to the back door to move on. Mates once again stopped me.
"Are you mad? What's wrong with you today?"
they said, and took me to the front door. I didn't understand what difference it should make until I saw there was a fence in the hallway between the front and back door, and there were full of zombies on the other side trying to get in through the back door. Anyway, I took a step from the hallway and I was back in the teacher's office again. Teachers bade good night to us, and we could finally get out of the school building and hopped on the bus back home. At which point, I, who had been watching it all via screen, turned it off, and I woke up from the dream. It's not a typical nightmare or such, but what baffles me the most is I think I had the same dream a few times already by now. Could it be that I have some sort of alter ego living in that game-like dreamscape? In the dream, I found myself in a game arcade. It wasn't a new flash place, but an old one full of old dusty game machines. It was almost empty too, except for a little boy who was lost in playing a game. His back looked familiar, so I approached, and indeed it was my 6-year-old son. "Hey, son, did you get Mom's permission to play here?" I said. But he was so much focused on the game and didn't even give me a look. Looking at his dumbly opened mouth, as kids often do when their mind is lost to something, I suddenly wondered, what's this place? Why am I here with my son? Am I dreaming? I couldn't answer any of that clearly. But I couldn't leave my little son alone there, so just watched on him playing. Then somebody entered the arcade. It was my wife, except she was wearing her pajamas and a bathrobe. Normally she wouldn't go out to the shop across the street unless she puts on a makeup and sets her hair. I wondered why she was looking like that now, but anyway, told my son, "Mom's here, let's go now." Indeed, wife joined in, saying, "It's all done, honey, let's go home." You heard Mom. Let's go, I said to Son and followed my wife out, holding Son's hand. Outside was waiting a strange guy. Who is this? I asked.
What? It's your friend,
Wife said. I don't know him.
What's wrong with you? He's your friend and joined us to this outing,
she said. But the uncanny feeling was growing in my mind. Wife looking nothing like her usual self, and now a friend I have never seen before. But I don't know him. What is this place anyway? I don't remember how we got here.
We drove, of course. It's the last day of our holiday. We shall check out and head home now.
With him?
Of course. We came together and leave together. Whatever have you eaten today, honey?
All the while, the strange guy was just standing there, silently smiling. Then I thought of our baby daughter. Where's our baby, by the way? I asked.
Let's go now. Come, honey,
Wife said. There was effing no way that she would pretend that our baby girl didn't exist. This couldn't be real. This is a dream, isn't it? I said.
It's not a dream, hon.
You're odd. That guy is a total stranger. I don't know this place, and our baby girl is missing. This is a dream.
Let's go home, hon.
Normally, I would have woken up at about this point. But I didn't.
It's not a dream. We should hit the road soon,
Wife insisted. We are going nowhere. Prove it's not a dream. Where's our baby?
We are going home now.
Wife was getting angry. Our son was looking up with a scared look on his face, and the strange guy watched on with a smile. I just turned around and ran. The street was full of people.
Daddy!
Son called out, and I turned back. I was shocked. The strange guy was gone, and my wife and son were not my wife and son anymore, just a strange woman and a little boy.
Where are you going? We should head home,
the woman said. This is a dream. But why can't I wake up? I ran away among the crowd until I slipped and fell. I panted for breath when a loud whistle made me look up. There was a giant ball, and on it was a man standing precariously with his arms awkwardly stretched out. Suddenly everything in the surrounding washed out in a bright white light, leaving the man on the ball alone in orange glow. That man was staring at me. And then I woke up. This shouldn't mean anything, but I could not fall back to sleep for the rest of the night. I get lots of lucid dreams. It's not like exciting accounts on the internet where one can do and control whatever one likes, but I just simply realize it's a dream. I have a habit of cracking knuckles, almost like a tick, but in a dream it won't make that satisfying cracking noise. Then, to make sure, I will try to bend a finger backwards till it touches the back of my hand. And when that happens, I can be assured that I'm dreaming. So even when I find myself in a dangerous or tragic situation, like losing a friend or chased by a very scary man, if I find I can bend my finger backwards, I know it's just a dream, and I can just play along, relaxed, like an actor in a play. There's a reason I don't act out even when I know it's a dream. Once I had a dream of taking SAT. Then I noticed my knuckles wouldn't crack, which meant it was all but a dream. Of course, I didn't focus on test anymore and just sat back and whistled away. A mate in the next seat asked me,
What are you doing?
I huffed and said this was all just a dream. Then the mouth disappeared from the mate's face, and his expression turned to glowing rage, as if he'd kill me right there and then. And not just he, the entire room of students and the teacher looked at me with exactly the same intense hate. That became a trauma, and now I just play along even when I know it's a dream. Yesterday, while having a beer and fried chicken with a friend at his place, I happened to talk about that one weird lucid dream. He just said, and nothing much else, so I just moved to another topic. It got late and I got a bit too drunk, so decided to crash at friend's place for the night. We both lied in bed, and when I was just about to doze off, my friend abruptly said,
You see, you should not let them know that you know it's a dream. That only makes them try to make your dream more and more realistic and harder to notice it's a dream.
I was drowsy and couldn't be bothered much to go back to the old topic, so simply said, Oh, right. But friend carried on.
What makes you notice it's a dream?
So I told him that I tried bending my finger backwards.
Oh, now I get it,
friend said. I got sudden chills at his tone and turned towards him. And there he wasn't. I was just on my bed in my own room. I didn't have beer and fried chicken, and I don't have a friend like him at all. Actually, by now, I couldn't even remember how he looked. The whole evening was just a dream. Now I fear if my future dream wouldn't trick and trap me. A few days ago, I met some old friends. After the first and second rounds of drinks, we moved to a 노래방, karaoke bar. I pride myself being a strong drinker. I say I can usually manage 3 bottles of soju. But maybe I wasn't in a good condition that day, so I felt pretty drunk by then, even though we didn't drink that much. I fell asleep in the karaoke bar and had a weird sequence of dreams. In the dream, I opened my eyes and found myself left all alone in the karaoke bar. The karaoke machine was playing the moody melody of the song A Letter to the Grey Autumn Sky. It seemed the whole bar was empty. The lights were off in the lobby and I could barely see anything. I managed to find my way out of the building, but outside was the same. Nobody around and everything off, no street lamps, no shops and no signs. Just gusts of wind were blowing fallen leaves about. I started walking to the direction of my home, but the way seemed to go on endlessly through a park. All I could hear was the melody of A Letter to the Grey Autumn Sky from somewhere. It was when I saw a figure ahead of me that I got around. Friends were chattering loudly away, and I found myself slouched down at one corner of the room. The friend who got the first song barely finished the first verse of his song. I tried to shake myself up by flipping through the list of songs, but all in vain. I fell back to sleep. I was back in the dark park again, and right in front of me was a creepy old hag, her back twisted and bent down in a grotesque angle.
Where should I go to take the Arirang train?
She said. What? Arirang train? Never heard of that. I just assumed she meant the train station, and I pointed to the direction of the nearby train station. All the while, the melody of A Letter to the Grey Autumn Sky was continuing at the background. I woke up again and found the same friend was still singing his first song. It felt weird that I dreamt all that while he was singing a few lines. And I dozed off again. Now, I was running across the park. The old hag was following me on all fours like an animal. Her eyes were rolled back white and her mouth was yelling,
You're lying! You're lying! You're lying!
All the while I ran for my life. The same song was playing somewhere. I woke up soaked in cold sweat. Same friend was just about finishing his song, that damned A Letter to the Grey Autumn Sky. I was all creeped out. What's Arirang train, and what's that song got to do with it all? To shake myself up, I lighted a cigarette and had a long drag. But it can't be. It didn't taste anything, nor could I feel the sensation of swallowing down the smoke. Next moment, somebody knocked on the door to our room like crazy, with a shout of,
You're lying! You're lying!
I screamed and looked back at my friends. But they were all turned into that old hag and joined the chant of You're lying, you're lying. I screamed again and woke up. Friends were looking at me with surprised faces. I lighted a cigarette, and thank God, this time I could taste and feel it. Finally, I woke up from the dream. The evening wrapped up without further event, and I came back home safely. But I still feel a chill when I remember the whole sequence of the dream. Hi, it's Anthony here, and thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I'm not a deep sleeper, so recently started taking melatonin before bed. I think it improved the quality of my sleep, but also made me dream more vivid. In one of them, the late Queen Elizabeth gifted me a real substantial silver box, but Charles took it away and exchanged it to a cheap tourist souvenir. In any case, we say a dream of receiving a gift from a king or queen figure is a lucky dream, so I bought myself a lottery ticket. But oh well, nothing. Damn, Charles, why, oh why? Did you have any funny or memorable dreams recently? Let me know in the comment. If you enjoyed my work, please give it a like and a comment, and please consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd support me more directly, I also have a Buy Me a Coffee account. The link's in the description. Buy Me a Coffee supporters enjoy an early access to my new video. Thank you. Next weekend is already Chuseok holiday in Korea, and it will be a special holiday episode. Until then, stay safe and take care.